Our next presentation, and probably the last one in this section today, is called Digitising Know Your Customer, or KYC, with MyInfo. And this will be given by three people: Elita Lawalata, who's a senior manager, Chloe Lim, product manager, and Malcolm Kuang, senior solutions architect at GovTech Singapore. I think Elita will be giving us the presentation, and Chloe and Malcolm will be joining us more towards the end to help out with the questions. So please welcome Elita. Thank you.
Thanks, Grammar. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon from sunny Singapore. I'm more like cloudy, I think, at this point in time. My name is Elita, and just like Daryl, I am part of this very passionate team in Government Technology Agency. We built awesome APIs as part of the National Digital Identity. And one of the API is called MyInfo. If you are integrated with MyInfo, that means as part of the Know Your Customer can be authenticated and they can provide their consent, so their personal data can be retrieved directly from the source, those that reside in government. Let me break that down again. That means as part of your eKYC, right, your customer will be authenticated and your customer will provide a consent for their personal data that resides in the government side to be retrieved and given to you. How cool is that? Okay, so we already have 423 partners integrated with MyInfo. They have come and bring in around 657 digital services to be integrated with MyInfo. If you take a look, right, 27% of them are part of the investment industry. These are your capital market services provider, those that providing financial advisory, 18% of them coming from other financial services. So these are your the one that provide you credit services, money changer, remittance services. We also have 14% coming from healthcare. So this is a teleconsultant providing telemedicine. Your clinics, your hospital, their patients registration are part of integrated with MyInfo. Even recently, we just verified we have a partner. They are providing optometry services online, right? And they integrated with MyInfo as part of their customer member registrations. So if you would like to be part of this API, you would like to subscribe to MyInfo, where should you start? The first thing that you can do is to have a user journey. What is the transaction that you would like to be integrated with MyInfo that will benefit with the integration of MyInfo? You have to think about the user journey. What are the steps that the customer will go through when they go through the steps? Okay, I'm showing you here a typical user journey if you are integrated with MyInfo. At the first step over there, we will reach your system, right, or your website, and then you are providing this service. Let's say it's a member registration. You are giving the options for the customer to choose to continue with MyInfo or other way. If they choose to continue with MyInfo, what happened at the back end, right? You will call our first API. It's called Authorized API. This is where MyInfo site, we will do the heavy lifting, right? We will authenticate them using our National Digital Identity, SingPass. The moment they are successfully authenticated, we will request for a consent. Hey, we are going to retrieve this set of information for the purpose of member registration. Do you provide your consents? So only if the user provide their consent, then the next call on your site, the authorization API, we will return you authentication code, and then you will continue with the next API. You are calling our token API to get an access token. And then the last one, you will call our person API. That's when we will provide you the response. The moment you receive the response, the data is in your system. What you can do is to show it in your system. All MyInfo data that is retrieved, right, you will have to display it to the customer so the customer can give it the final look before they are submitting it to you. Okay. you have to remember when you are designing your user journey, please make sure that you only collect data that is important to you. Do not over collect. If you are collecting sensitive information and you would like to retrieve this from MyInfo, right, you will have to have a regulatory requirement that supports you from taking these informations. Okay, so we have a user journey in mind. Come up with this. Make sure you have this. It can be a mock-up screen. How do you foresee what the customers see in your system? And then after that, this will be useful for the later steps. And then the next thing that you can do is align the data types. Okay, on your side, you are probably already have this informations, right? I'm sharing with you 3 sources of informations that can help you in aligning your data types. The first, the leftmost is our data catalog. Just scan the QR code, it'll bring you to our portal, MyInfo Data Catalog. You can take a look at all the data items that are provided through MyInfo. The one in the middle is our functional specs. Our functional specs is also available online. Just scan the QR code and then we will lead you to our functional specs. Through our functional specs, right, you will be able to see the attribute names for all the data items that's available in MyInfo. And you can also see, is it an object? Is it a string? Or is it how many characters are those? So you can have that details. The most often things that I see, right, system will usually break down the names like first name, middle name, or the surname. But in government, right, all these names are combined into one field called principal name. So in this case, you will have to design your data types to be aligned to this. On the right-hand most, we have here is what we call a display guideline. In this display guideline, we provide you materials that you can use to build your user journey that we went through just now. And then you can also design your system. And the same thing, there are also sensitive information. For those sensitive informations, there are guidelines that you have to follow to make sure that there's a consistency in the way we present the data. The next one, so you already have your user journey in mind, you already aligned the data types. Forgive me, these slides are missing some icon, but it's not that important. Try to re-engineer your business process. So in the past, right, you have a long form, and then you requested your customer to fill up all these informations, and then you are requesting them to provide supporting documents. An example will be a copy of their identity documents, or maybe a copy of their telco bills, just to make sure that they give you the right registered address. Well, this is no longer required because through MyInfo, right, all these informations are the latest informations that is available in the government source, and they are already authenticated. So in this case, you can do away with these supporting documents unless the regulatory requests you to do so. So once you already have a verified informations from your customer, is there a necessary for you to delay further this application? Can you go with a straight through processing? If they are applying for a credit card, or they are applying for the loan, if all the situations or the conditions is already checked and all are already verified, right? Is there a need to wait? So can you give it direct approval? You know, this is something that you have to take a look. You have to take benefit from the verified data that you already have. And then as part of the application, is it going to be just a standard application, or is it something that you need your officer to be assisting the customer, or is it going to be a joint application where one or multiple person has to be verified as part of the whole application? This can be achieved through MyInfo. So give it a thought. Can you make your process more optimized? Can you utilize MyInfo to its very best, and then giving this very fast service to your customer? So now we're already done with the user journey. We are done with the data types, right? You already went through your processes. So what should I do next, Elita? Okay, now it's time to visit our portal again. You can scan this QR code and then we lead you to our portal. You can perform a login to our portal using your SingPass. Just make sure that your SingPass is authenticated to transact on behalf of your company. This can be done through Callbacks. Just make sure you are either given an access to all e-services or specifically to SingPass API developer and partner portal. The moment you already have your SingPass account being authorized, right, just do a quick login on our system and then you can see this button, blue button called New Linkup Request. Linkup Request is a request to integrate with many of our APIs, and one of them are MyInfo. So as part of the MyInfo Linkup Request, you will be required to provide your user journey document. Remember, we went through this before. Just make sure, convert that into a document, a PDF, and then share it with us. And then we will go through the reviewer process just to make sure that everything is in place. And after the approval is given, right, through the system again, after your login, right, you can go through to see the subscription, and then you can go through the term and agreement, approve it digitally as well. And then you can get an access to our app. We will create an app for you. So this app, you can check out your credentials. What is your app ID? This is the place where you will upload your certs, and then you will register all your callbacks. So basically, from the time of approval of the Linkup request, it is a self-service for you, right? You don't have to provide us. You don't have to wait for us to enable your staging environment or enable your production environment. You can do so every time you have to change your certs or you have to remove or add your callbacks. Just log into the system. Changes will be applied immediately, and then you can start testing and run for it, right? In the future, Elita, I'm currently only approved with few set of data items, but hey, I want to take more data. I think this will be useful. Well, you can do so as well. You don't have to submit a new Linkup request. It's basically just a request for additional data item on top of your already approved request. All right. So if you have a comms or marketing, Elita, I would like to bring this, in our social media or in prints. Would you be able to support that? Just drop us an email, right? We will connect you with our comms and marketing, and then we can vet the materials, and then we make sure that everything is all right on both sides. All right. So what about if there is a new announcement, if there's a new data items that MyInfo bring on board, because we do so every now and then, right? If there is any announcement of a new version of the API, where can we find out about that? As part of your app configuration, there will be a list of contact that you can provide to us. Just make sure those are up to date, because we will continue to reach out to you through that mailing list. All right. This is going to be my last slide. On the left-hand side, you see a QR code that will lead you to the same portal that provide all the national digital identity APIs, and one of them are MyInfo. On the right-hand side, you can also come to developer portal. If you want to take a look on other APIs that is available provided by the government of Singapore, you can also access those portal. I'm going to invite the rest of my colleagues, Chloe and Malcolm and Graeme back as well, to join us if we can address any question.
Excellent. Thank you very much. This is quite a staggeringly large initiative that you put together. I think in the first slide, you've said something like 423 partners.
Yes. And then if you see, right, 423 partners bringing on board 657 digital services. So there are those partners that found the integration to be fantastic, and they are bringing more of their journeys to us.
That's extraordinary. That's quite a job of wrangling all sorts of disparate parties. Did you have a lot of trouble getting those people together, or was there kind of a tipping point where people thought, okay, this is a really good thing, we're going to get on board?
Once customer give it a try, right? So they are probably, I'm from company A, but they are trying these services. They as a end customer use it, let's say in the bank, or when they are applying for opening a electricity account. Once they are using the service, and then they say, hey, this is actually something that can be implemented in my companies. My companies can benefit from it. So we gain this trust bit by bit, and of course we do some improvement based on their feedbacks to make all the process of the integration to be smooth.
Okay. Chloe, you're a product manager for this, yes?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, what are some of the challenges that you find in moving a project like this forward, or a product like this forward?
So I confess I'm rather new to the team. So I just joined the team in Jan, but it's been a really exciting journey thus far. I think Elita definitely helps with the engagement. So when it comes to partner management and the new great ideas that our relying parties or partners come on board with, these are the exciting opportunities that she works on. She helps us gather feedback as well. And we're always open to hear what kind of data items people are looking for us to add. And so on the back end, what I do as a product manager as well is to work with the different agencies to see where we can find really trusted government sources for these data that can really enrich the offerings that we can provide to our end users. And I guess this is somewhat where the complication comes in as well, because there's coordination to make sure that we are getting the right data and that it is updated at an appropriate frequency so that we can best serve our customers.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm impressed too that you have so much information out there, I guess, in the public space, your functional things, your API specs and all the rest of it. That's a huge thing to get out there. How did you determine the formats and the level of information that you would get out there? That must have required a fair bit of talk.
Indeed. So we do have another team who focuses specifically on managing the portal. And in fact, they are the experts at managing the different products as well that we are onboarding. So like what Elita mentioned earlier, MyInfo is not the only product that you can onboard while using the portal at api.singpass.gov.sg. You can use our other products like Verify and even I think MyInfo Business as we slowly onboard different ones. And what we hope to do is to really enrich the way companies in Singapore and even overseas can use our data to enrich their user journeys and to really save time and provide greater value to their end customers.
Fabulous. Thank you, Chloe. Malcolm, how about you? What are some of the technical challenges that you have to overcome implementing a platform like this?
Okay, so there's two parts to it. So just now, like Chloe mentioned, there's the onboarding portal. So it's more about understanding the various needs of the API for integration, and then provide the platforms for the various parties to actually get on board and the types of configurations that they need in order to configure and then integrate with our various APIs. And then the other part will be the MyInfo. So I think with more data comes in, it's give us more greater responsibility. So the key part of it is the integration with the various agencies in pulling the data. And then the other part of it is the security. So in terms of serving out all these data, we need to make sure that the end-to-end security is well thought of, and then we protect the data of our citizens and our customers. And of course, and the integration with the relevant relying parties.
Yeah, security. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, yeah. Just to add on that, we actually provided even a tutorial that our partners or potential partners can just give it a try, right? It's a step by step. So you can get a feel on this interaction between calling all of our API, like authorized API token or person API. So you don't need to have submit anything to us yet. You can just go through this tutorial. I believe this is a very good material that can give the team, the technical team, a head start to understand that I can integrate with MyInfo. They can confidently say that they can integrate with MyInfo.
Yeah, I think on top of the tutorial as well, we have sample apps that the developers can rely on, so that they can just take a look at the code to see what they can either adapt and just use directly if they're using the same language actually. So we did try to adopt an outside-in approach to see what developers would need most to be able to integrate, because we really want to enable and proliferate the usage of our data products.
And that seems like a great approach, because an initiative like this is not going to work unless you get other people on board, obviously. How big is this in terms of, this must be quite a big initiative in the whole of Singapore, and you'll have to forgive me, I'm living in Australia, so I don't know much about this. So this might be one of the biggest government initiatives that you're working on at the moment?
It all started for us providing this only to the government agencies. So it is from a simple solutions, right? Like the public give us a feedback. A, I have given this informations to government agency A, but if I approach government agency B, why do I have to keep repeating myself? Don't you talk to each other, right? So we think, oh, that's good, cool. So we start this as providing this only to government agency. So it was quite a bold move to make this available to the private entities, and we were quite surprised with the feedback that we get, because at the very first time we introduced this to the financial institution, right, they love it, because you are getting the data from the government source, but the most important thing is the customer consent to it. I guess the customer is tired of uploading all the documents, filling up all those, what is my income from what year to what year, so this is something that they want. So with this verified, the cost of KYC for the partners, right, goes down, and then the effectiveness, because it's a very efficient, it's all verified, right? It's getting up, it's getting higher. So for us, to be honest, the adoption of MyInfo has been like quite automatic. Yes, of course, we do some marketings, we do meet with the people, but it's something that the partners are willing to try it as long as they are aware about it.
Fabulous. Okay, we have a question here from Alex Lim. Alex asks, he says, Elita spoke just now about submitting callbacks. Can you expand on that a bit more, please?
Malcolm, can you just explain to us first, maybe, the function of this callback?
Okay, that part is the callback URL. So basically, the certain APIs require us to actually call back to actually submit the information to certain URL space. So upon the onboarding, when you submit the Linkup request, there's a need for the RPs to actually submit this callback URL, so that once we put the information, we are able to actually call back to the relevant RPs.
So it's basically, if a company A calling us, right, they will provide, company A will tell us, MyInfo, please send a response to this callback, right? So when we do our response, then we return it to that callback. So this is also giving a flexibility for the partner, for the entities, for the company who would like to integrate. You might have one user, you have one model that is calling MyInfo, but then the response will be given to the respective system. So we allow for a registration of multiple callbacks. So that's the use of these callbacks.
Yes.
And I believe so for security purposes, so that if someone else were to call it, we will ensure that we will only redirect it back to a callback URL that has been specified by your company.
Yeah, cool. This is the idea of asynchronous messaging. So I ask you to do something, and then I go away and do whatever I'm doing, and when you're finished, you tell me about it.
Yep.
Yeah, as opposed to a synchronous or blocking call. Okay, I hope that's answered the question. I think we're pretty much done here. Is there anything else you'd like to showcase yourselves about MyInfo?
Well, there's already 423 partners benefited from them, right? So please give it a try. I believe you will not be disappointed. So do come visit our portal, or send us an email. I'm manning the email myself, so we can have a discussion. If you need to bring this to your management as well, or you need to know more details, just reach out to us, and then we'll get you in touch very, very soon.
Yeah. And if I could, maybe I'll just give you a heads up that for this week, we are planning to roll out the Pioneer Generation and Merdeka Generation flag. So if your company is looking for this data set, then you can just watch out for the portal, and you'll see that it's accessible by the end of this week.
Excellent. Great. Thank you very much, Elita, Chloe, and Malcolm. That was fantastic.
Thank you, Graham.
Thanks.
No
Graham.
worries.